Hi, everyone. We are back to continue our series with PT on the houses, the truth of the astrology houses. And today is the 10th house, commonly known as the house of your reputation in the world. A lot of people refer it to as the career house. But I would just love to dive into PT's knowledge of how he truly sees the 10th house. Illuminate us, please.
Yes, Julie. So I think I'll have to go very different from what the general conception of this. I'm sure what I'm going to say is going to be very different from what is actually thought about. So we have to go back again, like I always we go back a little bit, for the last one. So in the 8th house, we discovered about the matrix. We said okay, you research the matrix. It's like going into the rabbit hole, blue pill, red pill, trying to understand the matrix. Okay, so that was 8th house. Then 9th house was learning how to exit the matrix. Okay, that was the guru, the teacher, learning how to get out of the matrix, learning about that. So what comes after learning is the 10th house. All right, after 9th. So what does happen after learning? Applying, working, right? First you found out about the matrix, then you learned how to escape the matrix. Now you're going to apply that. Okay, and you're going to work. So it's the final work house. That's why there are 3 earth signs: 2nd house, 6th house, 10th house. They are all earth signs, work houses. Okay, and this is the final work house. Okay, so this is the final work. This is the main work. To work on getting out the cycle of birth and death as a human being is the main work of any human being. Okay, so this 10th house is that the final work, main work. And for doing that work, what do you need? The keyword is determination. Because there will be a lot of obstacles in that work, right? In any work, there are obstacles. And what do you need to get something done? It's determination. So if there's a keyword for 10th house, it is determination.
Yes, it's akin to Capricorn and one of the characteristics of Capricorn.
Yeah, so Saturn, Capricorn, like if you have to climb the whole mountain like a goat.
Yes.
What does a goat need?
All the obstacles that come in the way.
And what do you need? Determination, right? So the keyword is not this thing, career or that. Obviously, people have just associated it with career just because in career also, they try to climb this corporate ladder or career ladder and they say they have to get to that goal. So they need determination for that goal, right? They're working 20, 30 years in a company to get to the CEO position, right? So that's how they use the 10th house. Okay, but that's not what the 10th house is. 10th house is actually about the 9th house first. 9th house is, the guru, the learning about the higher things, the higher wisdom, what is the human life for, and then applying it in the 10th house. So that is the actual Capricorn work. In today's time, people have twisted it to this, this rise in career and climbing the corporate ladder. Instead of climbing the ladder out of the matrix, it has been turned into that. So once you actually start doing that in 10th house, right, then you will start having a sort of a effect on the other people too, right? Because you're practicing that and you're that thing, so you're working towards that. So other people will say, oh, what is this person working on? What that thing? They'll be curious or whatever. So then people might learn from you and use you as an example, which is called a 10th house collective. How you're seen in the collective. That's all. But that's how you should be seen if you're doing the right thing. If you're gone by the 9th house, because the other things which people think 10th house, use 10th house for right now, they have nothing to do with the 9th house.
It's not connected.
It's not connected. So, but 10th is following 9th. So 10th has to build upon. Up to now, every house we have gone into, the 2nd house has been built upon the previous one. So 10th has to be built on this one. If you don't build 10th on this one, if you just use it in isolation, like a separate from everything else, then it won't make sense. And then you will come down to these modern definitions of this, what they call 10th house. But 10th is actually that determination to actually get this done, get the breaking out the matrix done, getting the Neo breaking the matrix thing done. And for that, work is required, right? So, and in this, like in Capricorn, there's in the 10th house, there's no amount of work which you're not ready to do. There's nothing, there's no limit to that thing, like the discipline, the work ethic, the rhythm, the continuity, the everything, everything comes into this. So that's what the key of the 10th house is. So that's why it's a field of action. It's the final field of action on Earth plane. You ate and stuff in second house. You did your basic routines in sixth house and took care of different things. And now in 10th house, you're ready to put everything into action. Okay, like.
How does it connect with the fourth?
Right. Okay. So fourth was what? Psychology. We went into the like internal workings of the mind and everything, the psychology and stuff like that. Now, like if you have your psychology sorted in the fourth house, right? Will it be easier to work in the 10th or not?
Much easier.
Much easier, right? Like to maintain that continuity and that maintain that determination and maintain that, and vice versa. If you are having a discipline of the 10th house and you are working hard in that way, then will that your psychology get more sorted?
Oh no, it will be a disaster.
Yeah, it will get more sorted. If you start working hard, in both ways, try to understand this, Julie. Like if you start working more hard in the 10th house, determination, hard work, all that, then what is the result on your psychology of that?
Well, I see how it can be beneficial, but at the same time, because I've witnessed it personally, like people that aren't sorted psychologically, that have a lot of things still going on, and they try to attain this 10th house, but I'll see a lot of like burnout. I'll see like kind of like.
Yes, we are talking about then that 10th house when people are not connecting to 9th house. I'm talking about the 9th house connected 10th house work.
Oh, okay. And how that trickles. Got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
I'm talking about the 9th house connected. I'm not talking about that 10th house work which people do, which has nothing to do with 9. And it's totally in isolation and just using 10th as a like for getting fame and glory and just making it big in the world. It's called making it big, isn't it? That's what it's called. Making it big, So, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about the 9th house influence, 10th house work. If you start doing that, and then 4th house will benefit.
Okay.
And 4th house is being strong as that thing, foundation will benefit the 10th. And work in the 10th will benefit the 4th.
Cool. So I can see how they strengthen each other as you go through the houses. The connection will help.
Yeah. So I mean, so that's the thing. Like that's the 4th and 10th is the psychology and that thing. So that work determination. So like even if there are some chinks in the 4th house and 10th house, you're doing the work as per 9. In time, that will get more solid, and you will not have those problems. And if this was solid enough to begin with a little bit, then when you went into the 10th to do the work, you have an easier time doing the work, right?
Yeah.
So they're complementing each other.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah. And obviously there is rest and work as well. Like 4th is rest, right? So there's a balance. Okay, after work you'll need rest too, because if you don't rest, then you will have problems which you call burnout and things like that. So 4th is providing you rest, so it's always complementing the 10th. You can say even a mountain goat rests.
You know what?
Even a mountain goat rests sometimes and takes a while and then walks. It's not continuously walking.
Yes.
It'll stay still for a while at one place and then start walking again. So it's not like this manic creature which is like, continuously walking all the time. Walks, reaches a place, settles, rests, goes again after replete. When it's replete, the energy is replete and again it starts. Like that. That's how target is achieved. Target is not achieved by manically.
Yeah.
going crazy in that field. So that fourth house provides the balance point for the 10th house activity. It is. So it's the culmination of 2, 6, 10, balanced by fourth, but functioning as per ninth.
Nice.
Yes, right. Like, so then only like we get the actual. So the actual work, like the maximum ambition is house of ambition, right? Then, okay. So maximum ambition on earth any being can have is to break out of the cycle of birth and death. There cannot be more bigger ambition on earth. Okay, that is the culmination, the top zenith of ambition. Because that's the only thing which makes sense. Like, okay, if you do that, then obviously, because this is no fun to be born, take another body, like don't know where, what, which circumstance, then this kind of trauma things and that thing and disease, old age, death, blah blah blah. It's, it's not a fun cycle to repeat. Like, which is the matrix, which we learned in the 8th house, all about this, like, this death and through that, all of that. And then 9th, we learned the wisdom of how to break, like what actions need to be done in order to break this. And 10th is applying and actually doing those actions. You have to. It's not a theoretical concept. In 9th, it's theory, right? And 10th, it becomes
application.
Application, practical. Real, what to do with the body. So culmination of the body, first house, is happening in 10. You're using the body for what it was meant to be used for. You did the hygiene and stuff in 6th house. That was okay. That's also necessary. But still, in 10th is the final use of the body. So it's the final house of action, karma, which is called karma in Sanskrit and action in English. So it's the pinnacle, the top, everything, the zenith, the highest point. So for that, the work is required, the top of the hill, top of the mountain, whatever you want to call it, So for that, hard work is required. So it's basically hard work, determination, discipline. That's what 10th house is. It is a very, and it's a work where it's continuous work. It's not like you do it one day, doesn't mean that you don't have to do it next day. Like you have to do it the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day. Like Rome wall wasn't built in a day like this. So the whole thing takes time and effort and continuity, day after day after day after day after day. Like it's not like a thing which, so that kind of, and 6th is going well if your habits and stuff are strong. That also helps you in 10, if your routine and everything.
Oh, okay. And that's the trine. Yeah.
Yeah, trine. You had the right diet. In 2nd, you have a proper routine. And then 10th will be.
Exactly. It will support the 10th.
Yeah. So that's right. You see the build up, like 2, 6, 10, like.
Exactly.
Yeah. The build up happening. So as we're coming to these houses, obviously we are finishing everything, like.
Yeah.
9, we finished the 1, 5, 9 trine.
Yeah.
10th, we are finishing the 2, 6, 10. So these trines are reaching their climax. Like intelligence is climax in the 5th house, reached in the 9th house. In wisdom and knowing how to break they can't be more intelligence than knowing how to break the matrix, like care of the matrix. They cannot be anything more intelligent than that. Okay, so then the 2nd, 6th, 10, we are coming to this culmination of the work and actually doing the work. So if people put as much energy they put in actually, getting up the corporate ladder or things like that, or in anything in their fields, becoming the best thing in the football or sports or entertainment or whatever, the same amount of energy is applied to this, then you can break out the matrix too. Like,
Exactly.
So, and not harm yourself, because all those pursuits are actually harming you first in the end. You're sacrificing your 9th house and 1st house for those pursuits. So the point is, 10th is not about sacrifice. That's not the keyword here. It is more about work and discipline and, determination.
It reminds me of the Super Bowl that was just happening here, and they were putting it on the TV, and I was watching it for a minute because I don't like to watch it. But I was just thinking, I was like, these men have reached the pinnacle of their careers. They're at the top of the game. And what are they doing? They're rolling around in tights, banging the shit out of each other's heads, getting brain damage. And I'm like, this seems like how like, I just felt like it made no sense.
So, yes, which is the same thing. No concern for the first house, self, body, and no concern for ninth house. What activity will actually benefit you? Really, what are you doing with the human life? Exactly, right? Like, this is not a pinnacle of human life. This is a mockery of human life.
Yeah. And they're getting paid millions of dollars for it, and they're being worshipped for it.
Yeah, that we will discuss in 11th.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that part we will, that's yet to come.
Exciting.
That's but this house we have understood, like, counterpoint to 4, rest and work, psychology and that thing, application. So basically learning about the matrix, 8th house, which is where a lot of the truther community goes into 8th house. How deep is the rabbit hole? And then the 9th house is the wisdom, guru, learning about the actual things, sorting everything. And 10th is applying. Yeah, like time for application. Enough about theory you understood in that thing, but that doesn't do anything. If you understood something and if you don't apply it, what use is it?
Oh, time for action. And then I just thought to myself, Mars is action, and then Mars gets exalted in Capricorn.
Because you need energy, isn't it? Yeah.
Exactly. No wonder it loves Capricorn so much.
So I mean, but because finally you need energy. Like, Capricorn is requiring the Martian energy actually for doing its work. That's all.
That's cool.
Yes, because work has to happen. So energy is key. And the more second and 6th house you are doing well, the more energy you'll have available.
Oh, that's right.
For the 10th.
That's
so
beautiful.
I think hope whole picture makes sense now, like, of the whole.
Lastly, I always love to get just a fun example of a planet. What would like Pluto be like in the 10th?
Well, Pluto is not considered a graha as per Vedic, so we can use some other one, like.
Oh, okay. How about K2?
Okay. So, like, you are working, right? And Ketu has a more like bizarre quality, right? It likes to do things unconventionally and in a strange kind of way, right? So when you are applying your things, like, you might want us to do those applications in a way which is different from how it has been done before, or others are doing it, or that thing. So there's some element of strangeness which it will bring into your actions, which will be noticed by others. Okay, since it's 10th house, so then that will create that kind of image.
Oh, interesting.
So it can't be like, and in that you might come across some shortcuts.
Oh.
Like you have to get from point A to point B. So either you go get to like this, or like, and the straight line might seem like the best way, but it might have problems. So you go with like this around it, like, and how to find that zigzag path and that kind of thing. That is where Ketu will come into its own, So, and intuition in that thing, using intuition in that field of activity and things like that, like that kind of sense and all of that. So it will color that field of action by its nature.
That's fascinating.
And the same thing will reflect in your actions, and that will reflect in your image too. So, because you're doing actions in that way. So that's how any graha of what will affect this sort of house. So that's So, but you have to understand it's a field of action only. Finally, it is about the action. So like even if a person is doing some sport or something, like, and they are known for doing something in a strange way, like, like they don't do it like the others, or
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, like if they're an entertainer or something, they do something strange, kind of like they're more like Bjork, like then.
Yeah. And it
Yeah,
reminds me of
yeah,
the Colombian soccer player. I don't know if you remember him. He was very famous because he was the
yeah.
goalie, and he would catch the balls with his feet, and he would be like a scorpion. Have you ever seen that?
No,
Oh, I'll
I'm,
send it to you. He's super famous in
yeah,
Colombia. He would go to the ground and catch it with his feet, and it's called the
yeah, okay, like
scorpion.
some bizarre action like that, something strange
Yeah.
in the way you're applying it. So these are the things in the normal world which people do in these kind of things, which 10th house is not about.
Mhm.
But even in what is really, when 10th house is really about, when you're doing acts for breaking out the matrix, Ketu can do things strangely even within that.
Mm.
So that's all. That's so people should always remember from this, like what it is actually about. It is about breaking out the matrix and the work to break out the matrix.
Mhm.
So how to be Neo and what Neo has to do exactly.
Mhm.
That's 10th house basically.
How to be what? New?
Neo, in the matrix.
Oh, Neo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and what Neo has to do.
Oh, and what Neo has to do. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the movie, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's the movie. What?
Have you
Yeah.
seen the new one? The new
Yeah, I
movie?
think I saw. I think so. Like only the last 2 minutes was sort of useful. Like
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was going to hold up to the original or if it was just going to kind of go astray.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like none of them actually are showing what has to be done because they're not coming from a 9th house point of view. So they can't really show the real actions in any of these movies.
Mm.
So that's why the whole thing falls apart anyways from the first to last. But the little bit of something about the rainbows and stuff, like in the last 2 minutes were there. Like in the last one, there was a bit in the, like,
Interesting.
you can paint the rainbows in the sky and
Oh.
yeah. When you see, you'll know, like it's just last 2 minutes. That's all. Let's keep
Okay.
it up.
A nice little teaser.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, so grateful for sharing this wisdom with all of us. I hope that you all take a moment to ponder and to really contemplate what PT has shared today. And we will see you all next time for the 11th house.